generally speaking, they're a loan with, you get interest rates back for a period of time for the length of the maturity of the bond that you buy. Now, there's really three different types of bonds at its conceptual level. The first one is a treasury bond. Bills, notes, and bonds, those are issued by the U.S. federal government. So, you can't buy these directly from the federal government. Major institutions like banks and investment firms, they go to an auction. They auction off these treasury securities from the federal government. And then in turn, they get a little bit of a percentage. And then you can go to these companies and buy a bond, secondarily, so to speak. That's important because if you see the price of a bond being sold by the federal government on your favorite news channel for finance, that's not necessarily what you and I are offered, because there's a bunch of market makers in the middle who have to get their cut. And so you have to understand whether it's reasonable amount that you're willing to pay this person to buy from them. Okay. Corporate bonds, because they don't belong to any government, are income taxable by the federal and state governments, right? So a lot of times corporate bonds can give you higher yields if you do a side-by-side comparison. But the reality is, we have to pay taxes on those. So sometimes a higher yield bond for those who make a lot of income can offset the value of the returns because you got to pay income tax. The last category is municipal bonds. These are typically issued by municipalities, including cities and counties and sometimes states. And what's interesting about those municipal bonds is, depending on where you buy your bond, if you're living in the state oftentimes, then there can be tax advantages. Now, there are taxable bonds out there, taxable municipal bonds out there. You got to look at, kind of what you're focusing on.